Hello everybody. Today we're going to continue our work with fractions, and we're going to spend some more time decomposing our fractions as a sum of unit fractions. So we're going to think about how can we take a whole or a fraction and break it down into smaller parts and think of it as a sum of smaller parts. So I have a rectangle here that I'm going to divide into 4 equal parts. Now this can be called a tape diagram or a fraction strip, either way, so you may see it being called either way on your assignments. But if I've divided it into these 4 parts, what unit fraction have I divided it into? And if you said fourths, you're right, so our unit fraction is 1/4 here. So let's think about all the different ways that I could break down our fourths, our 1, into different combination of fourths. So the most straightforward way, right, is to say that 1 is equal to 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. That's one way, right, that we can show that 1 is broken up into fourths, 1/4 in each one of these. Now, if I wanted to start combining some of these, I could break it down a different way. So I could do 1/4 plus 3/4, right? So I could show it like this. So I could say that 1 is equal to 1/4 plus 3/4, right? And I would just show that like this in my number bond, 1/4 and 3/4, because we know the whole is equal to 4/4. And if I add up all of my numerators, 1, 2, 3, 4 gives me 4/4, and 1 plus 3 gives me 4/4. What other ways could I break this down? I'm going to get rid of my coloring. Let's see, I could do 2/4 plus 2/4. That's another way I could break it down, right? That would still give me, 1 whole. Right? I could break it down as 3/4 and 1/4, which we've already done, so let's try something different. What about 2/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, right? I could do it that way. 2/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Right? So there's lots of different ways that I can break this down and to create an addition sentence to show how all the different combination of fourths I could use to make one whole, right? So now let's take a look at another one. Let's say we're going to work with eighths this time. So I'm going to make a larger tape diagram or fraction strip, and I'm going to break it into my eighths. So again, my unit fraction is going to be eighths. But we're not going to look at a whole this time. So there's my 4, and there's my 8, okay? So if I look at this here, I'm still saying this is 1 whole. This whole thing is 1 whole. So our unit fraction is still eighths. But this time, I only want to look at 7/8. I want to think about all the different ways that I could break 7/8 up. So basically what that means is that this part we're not going to really look at. Okay, it's there, but we're not going to be considering it because what we're thinking about is all the different ways that we can make this part 7/8. So I can write 7/8 is equal to, well, the most easy one, even though it takes the longest to write, is I can just repeatedly write 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, right? So I could write that all repeatedly, 7/8, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, what are other ways I could break it up? Well, let's see. I could do 2/8 plus, 3/8 plus 2/8, right? So I could say 7/8 is equal to 2/8. There's my yellow. 3/8, there's my red, and 2/8, there's my blue. And if I look across my numerator, right, 2 plus 3 plus 2, that makes my 7. And remember, the denominator is just our unit fraction. It's just telling us that we are talking about eighths. That's our unit. What would be another way I could break it up? Let's get rid of my colors here. Whoops. I could do, let's see, I could do 4/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, right? I can do as many combinations, right? I can have as many parts as I want, and I could say 7/8 is the same thing as 4/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, right? Because I can look across 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my 7, my numerator, and my 8 stays constant because that's my unit. Let's take a look at one where we have more than one whole, okay? So let's take a look at if we have something like 5/4. So if I asked you to take a look at the number 5/4, okay? So first of all, we're going to take a look at our denominator. And what unit fraction are we talking about? Well, we're talking about fourths. So I'm going to make my tape diagram or my fraction strip. Whoa, that was not a rectangle. Let's try that again, guys. Oh, what is happening? I think I needed a single line. Let's try that again. There we go. That's much better. So we're talking about fourths. And I know 4/4 is going to make my one whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just draw my fourths first. There's my fourths. But they're asking us to talk about the fraction 5/4. And I only have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 on here. So I'm going to add another fourth on. Okay? I know that this is my one whole here. But I've added another fourth on so that I can be thinking about the whole set of 5/4. Do you guys see how I made that happen? That's 5/4. So now, if I want to talk about all the different ways I can make 5/4, I can start doing my coloring, right? I can do 3/4. So I can say 5/4 is equal to, I've got 3/4, and then I could just keep it simple, plus the other 2, and that makes 5/4, right? I could color it in smaller parts. I could do 2/4 plus 2/4 plus 1/4, right? So 5/4 is the same as 2/4 plus 2/4 plus 1/4. I could say that 5/4 is the same thing as 4/4 plus 1/4, right? And that still gets me 5/4. So again, looking across the numerator, our numerators are going to add up to the 5. Our denominator is staying the same because we're talking about the unit fraction of fourths. Okay? So today what you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be given a fraction. I want you to draw a tape diagram or fraction strip like this and label each of the parts. Then shade the fraction that we're talking about. So in the term of 5/4, shade all 5/4. In the case of 7/8, shade 7/8 of it. And then you're going to write 3 different number sentences to show me how you can break it up. So in this case, we did 3 here, right? We did 1, 2, 3 different ways that you can write an addition sentence that equals 5/4. And we have a visual model in the form of a tape diagram. Okay? Once again, if you're at home and this is getting tricky for you, please feel free to come to my office hours at 10:30. I'd be happy to help you. Good luck.